In this recording, we're going to go over the Desmos 2.7 exit ticket, the last two problems, so that you have some more examples of how to find a normal segment. So this is the formula we've been using in class. And I'm given that A is -5, -3, and B is -1, 6. The task here is to write an equation for the line through B and perpendicular to AB. They name B in the problem. So B is going to be my named point. Now, my named point, I want to know that my X, I'm going to go over to B. The X is -1. And the Y is going to be 6. So anywhere in this equation I see anything about the named point, I'm going to be using -1 and 6. If I see anything that's about the not named point, I'm looking at A. And so the X is going to be -5 and the Y is going to be -3. So with that information, I'm going to start filling out my formula. All right, starts with the X of the not named. So not named, it's over here. The X, that's -5. Minus the X of the named point. That's over here, that's -1. And if you notice, I put a minus and a negative. Minus is part of the formula, so that has to be in there. And then the X value has a -1, so I have to also put that. Then I do my next parentheses. X doesn't have any information about where it's coming from. This is the X that I want to just be plain X because I want an X in my final answer. Minus the X of the named point. So again, that's going to be -1. Close it, and then I add. Go to the next parentheses, Y of the not named point. Again, not named over here, that's -3. Minus the Y of the named. Okay, so named, this is my Y, 6. Times Y minus, and again, the named Y is 6. And it's all going to equal 0. So now I have all of the information that I need in my formula, and I can go about simplifying. And I see that I have -5 minus a -1. Minus a negative means to add. So this is the same problem as -5 plus 1. Well, -5 plus 1 is -4. I can't do anything with this X minus a negative. I can make it a plus 1, but I can't do any actual work beyond that because they're not like terms. I can't add an X and a 1. Plus -3 minus 6, I can simplify. And that's going to give me -9. And I'll bring along the Y minus 6. And again, for the same reason, I can't simplify that because I can't combine a Y, a variable, with a constant. Once you have this part done, now you move on to your distribution. And distribution is just taking the number that's sitting outside the parentheses and multiplying it against everything that's inside the parentheses. -4 times X is -4X. -4 times a positive 1 is a -4 or -4. -9 times Y is a -9Y. -9 times -6 is, again, you take the sign that's right in front of it. -9 times -6, that's a positive 54. So we've done our distribution, and now we can combine like terms. When we combine like terms, we're looking in this case, just for the constants. So I have -4 plus 54. That's 50. Everything else I can just bring on down. -4x minus 9y plus the 50 is going to equal 0. And I can't combine the -4x and the -9y because they're not like terms. Now, the goal is to get y by itself. So I start by moving away my 50. If it says plus 50, I'm going to minus the 50. Cross that out. The x here is going to move next. It's a -4x, so I'm going to add 4x. All right, and I'm just going to bring this all down. I'm going to bring this -9y down. And you make sure you take the sign that's right here in front of it. That's a negative. And I'm going to rewrite this problem. I'm going to put the 4x first. And it's positive, so it stays positive. And minus 50. I decided to put the 4x first because I want this to end up in slope-intercept form. Now I just have one very last step. And the last step is to get rid of this -9. Because it's right next to the y and I actually want to break them apart, I have to do the inverse. This means multiplication, so I'm going to divide by -9. And when I do that, I'm going to end up with y equals -4/9x -50 divided by -9, that's going to be positive, plus 50/9. So we end up again at y equals -4/9x plus 50/9. The third problem on the exit ticket used a different set of points. And here we have C being -4/3 and D being 3/3. I already have the formula on the page for us to use. And now I need to identify what is the named versus the not named point. Write the equation of the line through C. So they name C. C is my named point. So what is my x and my y for the named point? Well, let me look at C here. -4 and 3. All right, D is not named. All right, so I'm going to look right here, and I see it's 3 and 3. I have all of my information that I now need in order to start substituting values into our formula. The x of the not named, that's 3, minus the x from the named, that's this -4. Again, we have x, just plain old x, minus the x of the named, that's the -4 again. Close it. Plus, now we do the same thing for the y's. The y of the not named, the not named is right here, that's 3. Minus the y from the named, it's here, that's 3. And we have y minus the y of the named point. That's again, +3 equals 0. All right, now I can go about simplifying my problem. I have 3 minus a negative, we know means to add. 3 plus 4 is 7. I'm going to bring down this row, or this parentheses. Minus a negative means to add. X plus 4 plus 3 minus 3, oh, that's 0. Bring down the y minus 3. which will equal 0. Now I can go ahead and I can distribute. So I have 7 times x, 7x. 7 times 4, that is 28. And here, it's 0. 0 times anything is 0. So I'm just going to write plus 0 for this whole thing, because 0 times y is 0. 0 times -3 is 0. Well, that's just 0. And now I can combine like terms here. 28 plus 0 is 28. So I have 7x plus 28 equals 0. And now I'm just going to continue. It says plus 28, so I'm going to minus the 28. And I have 7x equals -28. The very last step here, divide by 7. And my equation in this one is left just with x equaling -4. Meaning if you were to graph this, it's just going to be a vertical up and down line. So if it was a coordinate plane look like that, if x is -4 over here somewhere, would be just running straight on down like that. That would be your equation.